Hello everyone, we have to discuss about that और पार्ट से फोर देख लेते हैं क्वेश्चन का 22 से स्टार्ट करते हैं। क्वेश्चन नंबर 22 देख लेते हैं। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग बेस्ट एट डिस्क्राइब द रिफ्यूज ड्राइव्ड फ्यूल्स RDF? It is other liquid and biofuels production from agriculture resides and through the aerobitic digestion. It is other fuel production by the processing and the segregating industrial waste, municipal solid waste MSW or and the commercial waste. It is other fossil fuel in extracted and from the landfills and through the methane captures, and it is other fuels generated from the recycled and nuclear plant waste. First C is correct. Recently an IS officer Sahu Supriya Sahu Supriya Sahu was awarded the Champions of the Earth Award, and in the context consider the following statement. It is administered by the United Nations Environment Program on other global scales. It is the United Nations highest environment honor recognizing outstanding leaderships and actions. Supriya Sahu is the only and the Indian to receive the UN Champion of the Earth Award till date. How many of the statement are correct? And all only 2 is correct. I don't know, but I'll match later. So gazing point है ये अपना. The life-size bronze sculptures of the Krishna Dev Raya and with his and two queens is found at which one of the following places? Two queens, Tripati, Dhemavati, Ujjain और Hampi. Krishna Dev Raya. कृष्ण देव राय की एंड दाइमाबाद. दाइमाबाद बी इज करेक्ट. अभी कह नहीं सकते कुछ कि क्या होगा. बी. क्वेश्चन नंबर 25. The Global Cooling Watch and 2025 report is released and by which of the following? International Energy Agency IEA, United Nations Environment Program UNEP, World Economic Forum WEF, World and the Meteorological Organization WMO. Cooling Watch report. World Meteorological Organization. D is correct. या फिर A is correct. A cooling. A. Consider the following pairs. Mariana Trench, deepest point in the world oceans. Amazon River, longest river in the world by length, and Lake Superior, largest freshwater lake, is by the survivor area. Only 2 is correct. B. Consider the following statement and about the stock exchange in India. National Stock Exchange NSF NSE was the first and the stock exchange in the country and to the introduce electronic trading facilities. Listening at the country or company on both National Stock Exchange NSE and Bombay Stock Exchange is mandatory for large cap companies. India International Exchange is other subsidiary of the Bombay Stock Exchange. Second and third is correct. Only two is correct. B. एक्सप्लेनेशन देख लेते हैं, राइट और रॉन्ग देख लेते हैं कैसा क्या है. क्वेश्चन नंबर 22 से स्टार्ट दिस पॉइंट. क्वेश्चन नंबर 22. क्वेश्चन नंबर 22. B is correct and C is not a correct, and I think I am wrong. Refuse derived fuel RDF explanation समझ लेते हैं. Is other high and the chlorophyll fuel produced from the process municipal solid waste, industrial and commercial waste including plastic, paper and textile. It is served as an economic friendly alternatives to fossil fuel commonly used in cement, clink and power plant, reducing landfills reliance. RDF can be the further specified into the tire derived and fuel TDF, solid recovered and fuel SRF, and alternative fuel RDF. RDF consists mainly of combustibles taste including non-recyclables, plastics, expect PVC, paper, cardboard, labels and other and corrugated materials. Dumping of waste in low-lying areas in and the unscientific and the filthy, which leads to the methane erosions and water populations and soil degradations in contract, and this the renewables energy source is and the eco-friendly options and other variables. Landfill alternatives, the conversions of MSW to RDF contribute to the scientific management of MSW. It also replaced the use of fossil fuels. The fuels is derived and after the basic processing to increase the calorific value of the combustibles based materials. Hence option B is correct. B. क्वेश्चन नंबर 23 बी होगा. वी इज़ करेक्ट. तो हमने एक तो करेक्ट लगाया है बी वाला. तमिलनाडु IAS सुप्रिया साहू was awarded for her and the openings leaderships on critical environment challenging in India including the plastic and wildlife conservations. The UNEP has administered and the award annually since it is the reception in 2005 to recognize significant contributed to environment protection, climate action and sustainable development. Hence statement first is correct. Champion of the Earth Award is and the UN highest environmental honors every year since 2005. UNEP honorables individuals and organizations working on innovations and sustainable solutions to address the triple planetary crisis of climate change, natures and biodiversity loss and pollutions and waste. Hence statement second is correct. Supriya Sahu was honored in the inspirations and action category in 2025 for her work in Tamil Nadu including ecosystem restorations and sustainable schooling. Supriya Sahu is not the only Indian to receive this award, and several others the Indians have received it and the previously including Prime Minister Narendra Modi 2018, Afroz Shah 2026, the Purnima Devi Barman 2022. Hence statement third is not correct. A 24 का A देख लेते. A नहीं है 24 का. It is B is not correct. During the 16th century known as the Vijayanagara period in Andhra Pradesh, the sculptures experience with and the portrayed sculptures in order to preserve knowledge of the royal patron for posteries at Tirupati. Life size standing portrait status were cast in bronze and recipiting and Krishna Dev Raya's and with his two queens and Trimulampa and the Chinna Devi. The sculptures has combined and the likeliness of and the facial features and with the certain elements of idealizations. Has option for A is correct. B. A is not correct. B is not correct. A report published by the UN and Environment Program UNEP Cool and Coordinations Day. Coordinations detail other sustainable schooling pathway armed aid and the dramatically and reducing the project GHG emissions from the cooling by the 2050. The Global Schooling Watch 2015 25 and report titles The Free and the Degrees was released by the United Nations Environment Program UNEP and the Cool and Coalitions on in November 11, 2025 aired the SCOP 30 summits in Belém, Brazil. Key concern raised in the report and surge in cooling demand under as a business as the usual. BAU and cooling pathway. The global stock of cooling and equipment will more than triples and by the 2050 from 22 terabytes and TW in 2022 to 68 TW. And policy gaps. Only 54 nations meet full sustainable schooling pathway standard despite board policy inclusion escalating extreme heat. Global population exposed to deadly heat stress could rise from the 30% today and to the between 48% and 76% by the end of the century. IPCC. This gets further amplified by the urban heat, island effect, heat waves, etc. A proposed sustainable cooling pathway. Passive cooling reduce the cooling and loads through and the passive design urban the planning and simple measures like doors on the rectification cabinets to cut cost and emissions. Low energy coolings prioritizing low energy system and such as the fans and evaporative coolers instead of or alongside air the conditioning to cut energy use and cold. Best energy efficiency. Adopt a high efficiency system with the variables speed and compressors and proper maintenance for the optimals and performance. Rapid HFC and phase downs and select low and GWP refrigerant and that the maintain system efficiency to reduce the direct emission and support sustainable cooling. Hence statement B is correct. Question number 26 B is correct. Mariana Trench is located in the western Pacific Ocean. It is contained the Challenger Deeps, which is the deepest known point in and the world and ocean approximately 10,935 meter. 35 meter. Hence pair first is correctly matched. Amazon river is other classical geographics debates and but according to and the genuine world record and the most and the geographers the Nile rivers is and the longest in the world by the length. The Amazon is the largest river in the world and by the volumes of water discharge and possesses the largest and drainage basin but it ranks second in total length. Hence pair second is not correct. Lake Superior is located on the border of the USA and Canada. It is and the largest freshwater lake and by the surface area 82,103 kilometers square. If the question asked and for the largest freshwater lake by the volumes, the answer would be the lake and Balkan vehicles in Russia. Question number 27b. The National Stock Exchange NSE established in 1992 and revolutionized an Indian capital market by being the first and to the introduced a fully and the automated and screen-based electronic trading system in 1994. The significant improved the transparency, speed and efficiency in trading. The operations replacing the old open outcry and system that was the used at the BSE and others regional exchange. Her statement first is not correct. There is no the legal and the or and the regulatory requirement mandating that companies large cap or otherwise the must list on the both NSE and BSE. A company can choose to be the list and own only one of the two exchanges. However, many large cap and companies voluntarily enlist on and the both to increase the liquidity and accessibility for investors, and but it is other business decision, not other mandate. Hence statement second is not correct. The India International Exchange, India INX, is other wholly and owned and subsidiary and of the Bombay Stock Exchange BSE. It was launched in 2017 at the Gift City, Gujarat, and serve as India first international stock exchange offering the product as such as the equities, derivatives, commodity and debt instrument. It was set up to the opposition's India as Adaha for the international financial services. Hence statement third is correct. BSE, the first ever stock exchange in Asia and was established in 1875 and the first in the country and to be the granted permission recognized under the Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956. Recently, the Chief Election Commissioners highlighted the need to the facilitate the postal voting for known and the resistance Indians and NRIs. In this and the regards the election commission and proposals for an and the electronically and transmitted postal ballot and system and BTETPBS and for NRI, and which is the currently awaiting government approval. ETBPS is the system through and which individuals voter cast and their the votes on and electricity and received and portals and ballot from anywhere outside there. The consistency for this is and the combine the use of electricity, electronic transmission and postal service to enables voter to receive and return their the volute electronically, and hence statement first is correct. This is the fully. क्वेश्चन नंबर 27 देखते हैं. Hmm. 28. Consider the following statement regarding the electricity transmitted postals ballot system in ETBPS, and under this system and portal ballots are sent electronically to registered service voter. The conduct of the election rules 1961 and was amended in 2016 to allow service voter to use the ETPBS, and which of the following which of the statement giving above are correct? First one. C is correct. With reference to the earth, sun and relation, consider the following statement. The tilt of the earth axis is responsible for the occurrence of the seasons and perihelions. Perihelions occurs when earth is farthest from the sun, and aphelions occurs during the northern hemisphere summers. How many of the above statements are correct? And first A is correct. Who among the following associated with the foundings of the Servant of India Society? Gopal Krishna Gokhale. A. 28 C. C is correct. C is correct. Recently, the Chief Election Commissioners and highlighted the need to the facilitate postal voting for non-residents, Indian NRI, and in the regard the Election Commission post proposal for and the electricity electrically transmitted portal Wayport. Ballot system and ETPBS for NRI, which is the currently awaiting government approval. ETBPS is other system through which individuals voters cast their the vote on an electrically received portal ballot from anywhere outside their the constituencies, and for this it is combined the use of the electronics transmissions and postal service to enable voters to receive and return their the ballots electrically. Hence statement first is correct. This is a fully secured system with two security security layers. The conduct of the elections rules 1961 was the amended in 2016 to allow only the service voter to use the ETPBS. Hence statement second is correct. A service voter is the voter with the service qualification according to the provision of subsections 8 of the section 20 of Representation of the People Act 1915. Service qualifications means being the members of the armed forces of the Union or being the members of the force to which provide of the Army Act 1950 46 of 1950 have been made applicable whether with or without modifications. Being other members of the armed police force of either state or serving outside that state, or being other person who is employed under the government of India in other post outside India. The same system is proposed to be the extended for the NRI. 29 का B is wrong है, B होगा. The Earth axis is tilt at the angle of 23.5 from its orbital plane as the Earth revolves around the Sun. This tilt causes different parts of the Earth to receive the varying amount of direct sunlight at different times of the years, and this variation in solar intensity and day length is the primary causes of the season. Perihelion is the point and where the Earth is closest to the Sun, not and the farthest. It is occurs around January 3rd each of the years, and the point where Earth is farthest from the Sun is called the aphelion. So statement second is not correct. Aphelion is the point and where the Earth is farthest from the Sun, approximately 152 million kilometers. This occurs annually around July 4th, and during this times the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the Sun, and which is why it and the coincide with and the northern hemisphere summer. June and solstice winters, summer north and winters. December solstice summer north. March equinox. September equinox fall and spring. Thatika A is correct. Servant of India. In 1905, the Servant of India Society was established by the Gopal Krishna Gokhale in Pune. Prominent moderate leader of the Indian National Congress, Gopal Krishna Gokhale gathered other few volunteers who shared his and the visions of selfless service. The foundation marked other new approach to the nationalism rooted in education, social upliftment, and sacrifice. The Servant of Indian Society objectives. The aim of the Servant of India Society were far-reaching and struck deep rooted in social reforms. Their main objectives were empowered the poor and marginalized through the education, encouragement of public health, eradications of diseases, fighting social evils such as the caste discrimination and untouchabilities, strengthening national unity via the fusing national consciousness, social services in sports of rural development and self-reliance, training pupils to give themselves to service rather than to personal interest. Thus, objectives aims at and the bringing forth other generation of servant and that put the welfares of the public first and above their the personal ambitions. Thank you guys. This session will be closed and next session बात बताते हैं 31 क्वेश्चन से.